All right, we're on page 2 of the review. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to work number 20. So to do what they're asking us to do is using square root. The first thing I'm going to do is move this to the other side by doing the opposite. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. Now I'm going to rewrite where I'm at so I know exactly where I'm at. Okay, now this is multiplied. The opposite would be to divide. That cancels out. 90 divided by 2 is 45. So now I have this left on the left side. Okay, how do I get that out of there? I take the square root because that's the opposite of squaring, and whatever I do to one side I have to do to the other. I'm going to rewrite this whole thing right up here. So now I have x plus 3 equals the square root of 45. I know that 45 can be broken down into 9 and 5. And this is a plus or minus. So I have minus 3 to this side, and let me do one step at a time. Let's do this one. So this is 3 square root of 5, and that's a plus or minus, and then I have x plus 3. Now, I want to get this 3 to the other side so that I can complete my problem. So I'm going to subtract 3 to both sides because I need to do the opposite. So I have negative 3 plus or minus 3 square root of 5. Alright, let's take a look at this down here. Determine how many solutions the following quadratic equations have. I'm going to use my discriminant, and that's part of the quadratic formula, and it looks just like this. And I put these pieces in parentheses so that I know when I go to use my calculator that if I have a negative number that I've calculated it right and it will give me the correct information. Alright, so now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to label stuff. So in this one my A is negative 2, my B is 5, and my C is negative 9. Now I'm just going to feed this into here. B squared, so that's 5 squared, whoops, minus 4 times negative 2 times negative 9. So I know that's 25 minus, all right, let's do a little math here. So a negative 4 times a negative 2 is negative 8. I'm sorry, positive 8. And a positive 8 times a negative 9 is a negative 72. So I have 25 minus 72, and that's negative 47. So how many solutions do we have? We have a negative number underneath our radical, which is our discriminant, so we have no solution. All right, let's take a look underneath this right here, and we're working with zero properties. Zero properties. All right, so I'm going to set my stuff up equal to 0. So either this or this is 0 when they're multiplied together because we have an answer of 0. So I'm going to set 4x equal to 0, and I'm going to set the other side equal to 0. And then I'm just going to work them out. So that would be divide by 4, x equals 0. Or my other possibility, so I'm going to subtract 2. So now I have 3x equals negative 2. Divide by 3, and x equals a negative 2/3. So these are my two possibilities for this one. So I set my two pieces, because they're multiplied together, equal to 0. I would do the same thing here, this equal to 0 and this equal to 0, and work them out just the same way. Excuse me. This one's asking you to solve each quadratic equation by factoring. Well, you can do the M method or you could do the box method. I just happen to start with the M method. And we're going to do A times C, and it adds up to, in this case, adds up to 8. So the factors of 7 are 1 and 7. When you add them up, 8. So that one was nice and simple. All right, so let's put our pieces down. So we have x squared and 7. So these two pieces come directly down. Then we have a plus 1x plus 7x. All right, so we're right here. So I'm just going to put brackets around it, or parentheses around it, I mean, so that I can work this out. So I have x squared plus 1x. I'm just going to rewrite it so I can see what I have. Plus 7x plus 7. All right, now let's start to pull some stuff out. So with this one, they share an x. I'll pull that to the outside. So that leaves me with x plus 1. And this one, they share a 7, so I will pull that out, and I have x plus 1. And I know I'm on the right track because these two parentheses match automatically if I'm doing it right. So I have x plus 1, and now I'm going to grab my outside pieces and combine those. All right, so all of this equals 0. So just like we did up here, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to set these equal to 0. So x plus 1 equals 0, and x plus 7 equals 0, and now I can work them out. So in this case, x equals -1, or x equals -7. All right, that's page 2 of the review.